This video will show you how to enter your crew's time in Fieldman. I suggest that you have the Fieldman program up and running, maybe on your laptop, so you can pause the video and try it as you go along. I can't emphasize it enough that it's best practice to enter time daily. It takes only about 10 minutes, and if you wait until the end of the week, it can be very difficult to remember how to use the program. But if you make entries daily, you'll get the hang of it faster and the data will be more accurate. After opening Fieldman, first select the job that you want to enter time on. This is on the far right tab. You should only see the jobs that are assigned to you. If your job does not appear in the drop-down list, you'll need to contact your project manager so permissions can be assigned. The next time you open Fieldman, the job that you selected previously will open by default. It may take up to 15 seconds or so for Fieldman to load everything, so just wait for the hourglass. It's a lot of data being imported. Next, select the area that your crew is working on. Click on the small arrow under Extra Area, and you should see all the areas set up for your project. By selecting just one area, it will help reduce the amount of choices you have for entering time, which will make things easier and less confusing. Now you need to select your crew. If you haven't assembled a crew yet, that's okay. We'll show you how to do that. First, click the Configure Crew button. Since the crew list is blank, we'll need to create a new crew. You can create as many crews as you like. Some like to have a pipe crew and a wire crew. You might have a crew for the first floor and another crew for the second floor. Anytime you have several people that will be working on similar tasks or in certain areas, it makes sense to put them in a particular crew. Not only will the crews be more productive by repeating similar tasks, it will make your life easier when you enter their time. So let's make a crew. Click on the New Crew button. Now let's give your crew a name. It can be anything, such as pipe crew or first floor crew, whatever makes sense to you. Type the name of the crew in the box. Now click the Save New Crew box. The crew name here is C&D crew, likely named after areas of the building. First, select the crew by clicking on the small arrow below the Select Crew box. Now we will search for an employee to add them. In the box Name, type a portion of the person's first or last name. It will have to be a person's real first name. Some people use their middle name or nickname. It would have to be the one that's used in payroll. In this case, we could type Ed, and it would give us a list of employees that have those letters in their first or last name. The more specific you are, the smaller the list will be. In this case, we get Edmund, we get Reed, and Ted, and several others that have ED in their name. Smith or Shiflett would likely give you many to choose from, but this can be helpful if you're not sure how to spell the person's name. So we have typed Ed, and we see that Ed's name popped up in the box below. Note that it shows us the current job that Ed's working on, which is 15 EC 0104. If we add Ed to our job and crew, he will automatically be removed from his previous job and crew. This can be troublesome if Ed works on many different jobs throughout the week. Another foreman may add Ed to his crew and he'll disappear from your crew. Just something to keep in mind if your crew changes all of a sudden. Now, to add Ed to our crew, just double click on his name and he will move from the left pane to the right pane, which means that he is now on the crew that you built. You can also use the arrow buttons to move them on and off your crew. If you want to remove someone from your crew, double-click on their name in the right pane. You can also use the arrow buttons to move them on or off your crew. Now we have our crew built and we're ready to enter time. Just a side note, we're using slides from a couple of different jobs for demonstration purposes. So if you notice the job name changes or the crew name changes from slide to slide, just please understand that. Now this may be the most difficult part to understand of the program. There is an important difference between crew time and employee time. There are two separate tabs. When using the crew time, you will enter the amount of time for the same cost code for many people, the entire crew that you selected. This is very fast. When using the employee tab, you are entering time for just one person. This is slow, but it has a purpose, as we'll see. Okay, here we go. First, select your crew. Next, select the area that the crew is working in. You'll notice that the list of available work codes will shrink to the codes that are valid for that area only. This helps prevent entry errors. You can also narrow the choice by division. For example, Division 01 is Raceway. If your crew is working in several areas but only on Raceway, this option may be better. The idea is to reduce the sometimes overwhelming number of work codes to something that's more manageable. Number 3, select the correct date using the arrows. Another option is to click inside that date box and a small calendar box will appear. Click on that calendar and you can pick the date for when the work was performed. Alright, number 4, make sure that you're on the crew time tab. That's very important. Remember, there's two different tabs. You want to be on the crew time tab. And number 5, click on the box that corresponds to the appropriate job code. Then we want to enter in the number of hours worked and then press the enter key. That's something special about Microsoft Access. You have to hit the enter key, then the data is entered. In this case, our crew worked 4 hours on overhead branch and 4 hours on light fixtures. Now let's see what happened. Click on the Daily tab to see the hours we just entered for all the employees. Remember, we were on the crew tab before. And bam, like that, you've entered time for 5 people across 2 cost codes. This can save you a lot of time for entering hours for many employees. An employee's hours will appear for each cost code. If an employee worked in 2 different cost codes, then their name will appear twice in the list. Many times, individuals on your crew may not have worked the same hours, or they may have worked on a different cost code from the rest of the crew. That's okay, because we can easily edit that in the Employee tab. What if Johnny worked 5 hours on this cost code and everyone else worked only 4 hours? No problem. To adjust an individual employee's hours, first find the row of the appropriate cost code and click in the hours box. Type in the number of hours worked and then press the enter key. This is very important. Again, in Microsoft Access, you have to hit the enter key. You can also change the area or cost code by clicking in the small drop-down area and making another selection. A good strategy is to use the crew time to get the majority of the crew's time in, and then go back and use the Employee tab to make minor changes. Well, what if someone worked overtime or wants paid time off? Let's take a look. To change the pay type, click the drop-down arrow and select the correct pay type. If the entire crew worked overtime, or if it should be holiday pay, it can be selected back on the Crew Time tab. This will change it for everyone. What is that pay ID NPT? Well, it's very helpful. Let's take a closer look. NPT stands for non-paid time. Why would I enter hours for that if the employee didn't show up? There is a reason. Later on, you'll see some reports such as timesheets. In order to help you make sure everyone's time is correct, these reports will highlight a person's hours if it totals over 40 hours per week or if it is less than 40 hours. Non-paid time is just a bookmark, so you know that the person is lacking hours for the week. They will not get paid for non-paid time. It only helps you know that everything is entered correctly and totals correctly. Let's take a look. After you enter some hours for non-paid time, a box should appear that will allow you to enter more information. If it does not appear, go back and to the pay type and select non-paid time again. There are two types of non-paid time, authorized and non-authorized. Authorized is normally when someone asks for time off for a doctor's appointment or something similar. Unauthorized is used when a person just doesn't show up or leaves early or comes in late. In the note box, you can describe the details. This can be extremely valuable when needing to document an employee that missed time often or says that he wasn't paid for the hours he worked. These records stay in Fieldman, and you can go back and look this up anytime. There's another place that you can add notes even if an employee doesn't miss any time. The green End button brings up a box where you can enter a note about the employee for that day. We made a note that documented that Johnny left early for a dentist appointment. This note field can be used for anything. Documentation is good. It can pay off later. You can delete the note by clicking the red box. When you're done typing, click Save Note and you'll get a message that it was indeed saved. Next, what if you have a guest star employee that you need to add some time in for? You can add employee time on the fly by clicking this button. But first make sure that you are in the Employee Time tab, not the Crew Time tab. You'll see this bar pop up near the top of your screen. First select the employee from the drop-down list. This list comes from payroll, so it has all the current employees in it. The job number should be pre-filled. You can select a crew, but it's not necessary. You must select an area and then a cost code. The labor category and pay ID type can be changed if needed. Enter the hours worked and the date worked, and remember, you got to hit the Enter key and then click Save. The time will then appear on the home screen just as the other time entries methods did. You can also go back and make changes to the area, cost code, hours, pay ID, and date if needed. If you need to add more hours for the same employee, you can click the green plus symbol and you'll get the same entry block, except it will pre-fill with the employee and work code. Now that we have all the time entered, we can see the timesheets to verify that everything looks good. We can view the time by the day or by the week. When you choose the weekly time report, you'll need to enter the week ending date, which is the Sunday after the work week. Even though the week starting date will appear, you cannot make an entry there. It's for your information only. It pre-fills with the previous Monday's date. This calendar button will help you select the correct date. So here's the daily time report. It looks like everything is good. Each employee has 8 hours. Here's the weekly report. It looks like everyone has 40 hours. The work areas are correct and the work codes are correct. These are things you can check for, and if needed, you can go back and make corrections in Fieldman. If the entire crew needs a correction, say for example I entered the wrong work code, you can make the changes in the Crew tab and it will change everyone in the crew. If you need to make a change to just one or a few people, then you can use the Employee tab. So this concludes the time entry training. Next, we'll learn how to claim quantities.